Hey, Stone here with another live cast of Mechabellum, and this is a game between the blue player, roughly translating to the god of cats, and Rackelhahn is a talented player playing as red. So in the blue player, we have the supply specialist, and they will be up against a quick supply specialist. So let's take a look at the board and let's see what's happening at this turn. Okay, seems like the red player is winning with a lot of units up front. These Stormcallers aren't really getting the damage it needed, even though it did take out quite a lot of Mustangs, but unfortunately it didn't kill all the Mustangs, which means they are probably going to get a little bit of experience. All right, round 3. Free unit cards. Ooh. Phoenix and Fortresses. So let's take a look. Okay. Alright, so let's do a quick assessment. Let's do the red first and let's talk about blue. I think red has a pretty good strong midline with the tanks coming in. I don't think these Stormcallers are getting the damage it needs. The crawlers with the mobile beacon is also going to take away some of the fire. The Mustangs are going to help with chaff clear, even though there aren't a lot of chaff at this moment. And the Phoenix is there to help taking care of the larger units. So for red, it's a fairly balanced board. With blue, I think blue is still trying to build the board right now. Chaff clear is decent. I think he got arc lights with range, which should take care of these Mustangs fairly easily. Tanks are going to be a problem, and fortress are starting to take down these larger units, but unfortunately the red player already has the marksman as well as these level 3 phoenixes to deal with the fortress. Stormcallers right now, they're kind of serving as just the chaff clearing. After the chaff is done, the larger units aren't really being hit by these Stormcallers. However, in the long run, I do prefer blue's board. I think blue has a strong, I would say, turn 6 and onward. What he needs right now is some chaff. Taking junior manufacturing specialist is a good way to just add a lot of chaff right here. But for now, he does need to have an answer to these phoenixes, so he ended up adding some marksmen. I don't think he necessarily needs to add this many marksmen. I think with junior, he could probably get away with adding just one marksman and dump the rest into chaff. Crawlers are a good way to kind of get things going. Right now with the blue player, there's only 2 waves of chaff, so there's the initial wave of fans, but then these fans, they're fairly close to the initial wave, which means they'll get killed fairly quickly. And if you watch, especially on the left hand side, you'll notice that the first wave of chaff is being cleared and the units actually hitting the damage dealers before the second wave of chaff gets in. So that's a issue with the chaff management. Ideally, what you want to do is as the first wave of chaff is depleting, there is a mid-wave chaff that is filling in the blank, allowing the damage to still be focused on the chaff. So a very simple solution for blue here is just to put a set of crawlers, I would say about 3 spaces behind these the marksman. So a crawler may be right here, because what we'll do with these crawlers is as the fan get to right here, as they're being picked off by the Mustangs here, the crawler, right, while running twice the speed, will arrive at this point. So as the fans are getting killed, the crawlers will run up, filling in the gap in between. Okay, so blue did decide to add 2 more sets of fangs on the side. It does serve the same purpose, especially with these Mustangs. So what will happen, as you can see at this turn, is that as these fans are being destroyed, these fans would just peek right around here right around here, filling in the gap for these Mustangs to hit. Now the problem with the fans is they have a very low hit point, right? 134 versus level 1 crawlers, which is more than double the hit point. Against units like Mustangs, that additional hit point will make a difference. And not to mention, the crawlers have more units. I think the only reason we could really go with fans is so that they're consistent with the army. My problem right now with blue going fans is that these composition is extremely vulnerable to things like Stormcrawlers. Now, of course, red is not going to Stormcrawlers right now, but if you ever were to decide to go, let's say, put down 3 sets of Stormcrawlers with fire, it would be detrimental for blue's position. Red right now is preemptively putting melting points. I think he saw the nano on the fortress and decided to go with melting points, which answers that problem. And of course, on this side, there is not much. So these fans are just drawing fire for the melting point. So this round is actually going to blue, which is excellent. Okay. If I were red, I will put down Stormcrawlers right away in this round because it's just going to provide so much value. Stormcrawlers maybe with high explosive, so it gets away this Chaff even faster. Senior Manufacturing Specialist, not bad. Right now, blue does not have any medium-sized units aside from these Stormcrawlers, which means if red decides to just put down a whole lot of melting points, it will be quite efficient in taking down the singular units. Blue is also looking to get more levels on the Arclight, so the Elite Marksman is already on the Arclight, signaling a arc carry. So wow, double tech on this Arclight, so they really want to go arc carry. And what that means is red is going to have a bit of a problem with Chaff, because right now red only has 5 sets of crawlers which are running straight in. These Mustangs, they aren't really, I mean, they're doing the damage, they're doing the job of Chaff clear, but eventually they'll become Chaff because they'll run ahead of these melting points. These melting points right now don't have range, but if they do, then these Mustangs would become Chaff, which becomes a bit more expensive. Melting points do have electromag, so that will effectively stop any sort of Arclight tech. So this one, Arclight has already been disabled. This one is also disabled. And as you can see with blue, Chaff is still a problem because of the lack of that second wave. This Arclight is kind of stuck here, and the Mustangs are just shooting at these fans that's coming out. Now, good thing for blue is that there's still a bit of remaining Chaff after these Mustangs have been demolished by the Arclights. So looking at the board, for red, I would still recommend Stonecrawlers. Sabertooth, probably there for a sell. All the other units don't make too much sense. Maybe Scorpions with range, but they will not outrange the upgraded Mustangs. He did adding even more melting points. So right now we almost have one. Yeah, we do. So we got 1 melting point for every Arclight there is. The problem is not so much of the melting point, the problem is just Chaff clear, because the Mustangs are dying before the last wave of fangs, especially these ones in the middle, go away. Blue took the tempo advantage with the fire. All of red units tend to run forward, so these fire will be very useful in kind of clearing out that fire. Clear out the Chaff. And red is responding with just a full set of missile interceptors. I think he should be able to defend that with 2 right here, but he will miss just a few. And on this side where the oil is going down, very lucky, 3 sets of missile interceptors. So what that means is that I don't think any missile is going to land on the fire, which is a huge bonus. In fact, the oil is actually helping red more so than blue, because now the chaff are delayed just when the melting point are starting their damage and also laying down the barrage on the units. So as you can see, the delayed chaff is actually serving red a lot better than it did with blue. So sometimes when you put down these effects, you have to really think about like the timing of your units. This is a huge round for red. I think this could be a fairly easy win for red if he starts to put down stone crawlers. I mean, I don't know why he isn't. All the units here are slow. They almost exclusively fight along this area here. So if you have just 3 sets of stone crawlers, you would decimate any sort of chaff as well as putting damage on their units. I think at this point, red is just so invested in the melting point game. He's even putting advanced melting point. The purpose is just to draw the initial volley from the stone crawlers. I'm not sure why they're doing this. Aside from that, I think it's a little bit costly. You're getting shot at by arc lights. Your money will be a lot better spent just putting down stone crawlers. Range Vulcan, this is quite deadly because this range Vulcan will try to aim right there, and once it does, it will ignite, killing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of units, leaving just the 3 melting points to deal with the chaff, which it won't effectively do so. We have Firebomb, which in this case, very luckily, being defended by this advanced melting point. I wonder if he's got a card for melting point. No, these are just regular melting points. So very expensive initial tank that's kind of going out here. Yeah, so no fire whatsoever on this side, allowing all the chaffs to come in. And of course, with the melting point and crawler production, there will be another round of chaff. The problem though is, oh no, there is fire now on the ground because of the second round of fire bombs, and there's still fans walking towards them. But I think red will still win this because just the sheer number of melting point. There's a lot of hit points to go through. So once your carry arc light goes down, there's really nothing to stop the melting points, even though they're picking off chaff one by one. So overall, I think it's an excellent game. I think for red, let's just take a look at the battlefield. Red, he lost quite a few rounds simply by the lack of mid-range chaff here, dying to the Mustangs. He also didn't have a straight answer to these giant spam. Yes, it's melting point, but level 1 melting point still have 45,000 hit point. These arc lights, doing 8,000 damage per second is still going to take quite a while. I think red was unable to slow down the sort of snowball effect from this melting point. I think it would be a lot better if he would get something of a melting point of his own. He might even go steel balls, because aside from high single unit damage from the melting points, red really doesn't have a lot of damage, right? These Mustangs can be shooting at level 2 balls all day long. You can toss even armor on those balls, and these balls will be able to get in and start sniping off these melting points. So yeah, good game. I think it's just over reliance on these carry arc lights, lack of second wave of fans were the primary mistakes for blue. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this live cast, and I'll see you on the next one.